As I'm sure you all know, Black Ops 6 ranked play is in a really tough spot right now, and there are plenty of reasons and speculations as to why that is. So I wanted to talk about the reasons why ranked play has died, why I took some time away, and what we have to look forward to in the future. And right now, the problem with Black Ops 6 ranked play is it's simply not a fair and equal experience. Obviously, cheaters and hackers are a problem of their own, but when you watch the top streamers on Black Ops 6, you're given an unrealistic expectation for what ranked play is actually like to play. A few days ago, I played against a squad of blatant hackers on my first day back in 2 weeks. Of course, that sucked, but unfortunately that's normal in Black Ops 6, especially in iridescent lobbies. So I took my loss and I moved on. The problem was, the very next game, that same stack cheated against Havoc, the #1 rank, and a much larger streamer than myself. And because he has a larger audience, the cheaters were banned mid-game and they ended up getting the win. Now, this is obviously not Colt's fault, and my problem with this issue comes from the anti-cheat and the way the developers are handling the situation. What this told me is that pretty much the only way to get a blatant cheater banned, and I mean a blatant cheater by the way, so this is something that should be picked up on very quickly, is to be a large enough streamer to have developer eyes on you, and then you can get them live banned just by showing the developers what's happening to you. And what this leads to is not only an unfair playing experience, but a misleading viewer experience as to what the top 250 is actually like. A lot of times these gaming companies will look to streamers and to YouTubers to advertise their game by simply just playing it. So when you think about how many thousands of people are watching Havoc or Scump or Nadeshot, it makes sense from the developer standpoint to make the game look as fun to play as possible and getting rid of the negative experiences like running into cheaters. So the thousands of people that are watching this POV or watching these streamers aren't getting the true taste of what it's actually like to be in iridescent and top 250 lobbies. So if you were convinced to put enough time and effort into Call of Duty to grind to iridescent or top 250 from watching those streamers, you would likely be playing against cheaters every single game, and when you do, you wouldn't be able to get them banned. So it's just not an accurate depiction of what it's really like to play ranked play right now. And although I am a much smaller streamer than Scump or Havoc or Nadeshot, I am still a streamer, so I have to admit my biases when I can, and I probably have dealt with this as well, just to a lesser extent. There are times when cheaters have booted the lobby offline instead of actually hacking against us. There are times that cheaters have dodged against us. And although that probably happens a lot less than when they're playing against the large streamers, I still have to include this because it's not impossible that I'm part of the problem when I'm streaming or doing YouTube. Not me actually being the problem, but you know what I mean. My lobbies might not be an actual fair depiction of what the true ranked play experience is like for somebody that doesn't stream or doesn't upload on YouTube, which would be sad because I run into a lot of cheaters. And I won't beat a dead horse on this topic. Obviously, we've talked about cheaters before. We've talked about booters before, which, if you're unaware, is when people send packets to the servers and boot them offline. This is a huge problem in Warzone right now because with a higher player count, you're more likely to run into those booters. So we're seeing a huge decline in Warzone, especially ranked Warzone, just like we've already seen a huge decline in multiplayer ranked play just because of the high prevalence of these cheaters and the booters. Because with competitive games, you're wanting actual true competition. And right now it just feels like RNG. When you load into these Warzone lobbies or load into these multiplayer ranked lobbies, you feel like you're flipping a coin on whether it's going to be a legit lobby or a cheater infested lobby. And then I feel like Nadeshot already made a video on this as well, but I'm going to reiterate. After you flip that coin of getting a legit lobby, you flip another coin that says, are they going to boot the lobby offline or are you actually going to stay in the game? And then after that, you flip another coin to see if you're going to be packet bursting the whole time. So the likelihood of getting a real lobby with no issues is relatively low, which is not a good feeling in a game that you're trying to make competitive. You want the least RNG as possible, and that's obviously one of the main reasons as to why people are leaving. And speaking of leaving, if you guys stay tuned to the channel or the streams, I obviously have not been live as often. I took some time away for the holidays to visit with family, see some friends, and hang out. Obviously, I had some videos scheduled, so my YouTube channel wasn't entirely dead, but admittedly, I haven't been uploading as often as I normally do. And to be completely honest, it was great. There are a lot of people out there who only play Call of Duty because that's all that they know, and that's all that they're comfortable with. And the problem with how Call of Duties are built now is they use a lot of engagement-based matchmaking and other methods to keep you on the game even when you feel like you're not having fun. If you're one of those people, I would recommend trying to take some time away. Just give it like a couple weeks and see how you feel. In general, when I wasn't running against cheaters every single day trying to grind to top 250, I ended up feeling a lot happier and a lot stress-free. So try the same, especially since they're not fixing the anti-cheat for another season or potentially 2 seasons of Call of Duty. We might be looking at a whole month or 2 months until they even change the anti-cheat. So now's probably a good time to not overdo it and maybe come back at a later date. And I think I'll save the talk about my future plans with Call of Duty till the end of this video, just because there are some other more major things that we need to talk about first. So we got cheaters and booters and the RNG and all the streaming stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the other problems with Black Ops 6. Now, in the grand scheme of things, these are much lower on the tier list, but they're there in general. For example, Dead Silence still does not work properly in Black Ops 6. Depending on what operator you run, you make more noise than other ones. Also, the ninja perk just doesn't work if you're in spectator, so if you die in search and destroy, you can call out for your teammates what they're hearing. That's been in the game since launch, and I guess hasn't been addressed, like I said, because it's lower on the tier list, but it's still a problem with the game that I'm surprised has not been touched at all. Also, when I play ranked play, I end up getting a lot of dead lobbies, so it's just 4 versus 0, and we have to wait for the 60-second timer to count down. I'd like if the game just realized it was a dead lobby first, before sending us into the game and making us count down, and then kicking us out to the lobby. And actually, I really hope that y'all can give me a round of applause because this is the longest that I've ever gone without talking about crossplay. And it's just been probably a couple minutes. So we talked about this earlier, how the anti-cheat won't be updated until Season 2 or Season 3, which could be another 30 to 60 or 90 days. The exact wording of crossplay, as they did officially announce it, is that it's being looked into, or rather the feedback from the community is being looked into on crossplay. They're likely going to keep it on forever, but if we're loud enough, maybe they'll listen. And when I post about crossplay, because I post a lot about crossplay, I have a lot of people in my comments saying, oh, you think legitimate PC players should just have to sit there and take it from the cheaters? Or this is not a true fix. In reality, you should be trying to get them to fix the anti-cheat. And yes, obviously they should fix the anti-cheat, and no, legitimate PC players should not have to just sit around and play against cheaters. The thing about crossplay is it's something that was actually our decision and in our own hands as to whether or not we wanted to play against the cheaters. Everything else is on Call of Duty and Activision's end. And to be honest, with how Black Ops 6 is gone, I don't know if I trust them to fully update the anti-cheat and keep it updated throughout the entirety of Black Ops 6 or future Call of Duties. The great thing about crossplay, like I said, is it was finally something that was in our court to do something and decide about the cheaters. I was on PC since MW19, and when the cheater problem was super bad in Modern Warfare 2, I bought a PS5, turned crossplay off, and had a great experience in those lobbies. That was something that I was able to do because of my decision to not want to play against the cheaters. Compare that to what people are telling me to do, which is instead of taking matters into my own hands and turning off crossplay, just yelling at Call of Duty or Activision to fix the anti-cheat. One of those worked with 100% certainty, and the other one was just kind of yelling. So yes, they should obviously fix the anti-cheat. They should put their time and their effort into it. However, the reason that I push mainly for console being able to turn crossplay off is because I don't have the trust in Call of Duty or Activision to continuously update that anti-cheat. So from my perspective, it makes more sense to fight for that because it's a more foolproof method and better for the longevity of not having to play against cheaters. And lastly, I wanted to talk about my future with Black Ops 6 and BO6 ranked play. And I wanted to talk about this last because those of you still watching are likely the only ones who care. And I do need to preface this by saying I'm extremely lucky that Call of Duty is my job, that gaming and content is streaming is something that I get to do not only for fun, but because it's my work. That being said, Black Ops 6 ranked play is not fun right now. All the points we've listed before, the cheating, the RNG, the booting, and all the glitches on top of that, it's just simply not in a good place right now. And I could continue streaming and continue making videos on Black Ops 6 exactly how it is, but that wouldn't be fair for me because I'm not having a good time. That wouldn't be fair for y'all because the content wouldn't be as good. So long story short, I'm going to have to find some workarounds. What this might be is hopping on an alt account and doing like an off-stream video of like a solo queue, doing more things like the guess the ranks, maybe some 1v1s against viewers. I might even bring like search and destroy wagers and money eights back. But the problem as well is if you're not in iridescent or top 250, you probably aren't running into cheaters as much. So ranked play still might remain popular for people that don't grind as much. So on this channel, I'll definitely continue to upload some aspects of Black Ops 6 ranked play, whether it's tips and tricks or the things that I listed earlier. But I think from a streaming perspective, I'm going to save my live streams for things that I actually enjoy. I'll maybe go back to wagers or console wagers or save it for new games that I enjoy. I wouldn't worry from a YouTube standpoint because the uploads probably won't change that much, but I still do have some brainstorming to do, so we'll see how that goes. Regardless, thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I want you to let me know down below what you think of Black Ops 6 ranked play and how you feel that it's at in its current state. Like and subscribe if you all enjoyed, and I will catch you later.